News, everyone. Welcome to episode 1 of the Testing Planet. I'm Simon Tomes and I'm here from Teddington, dialing in, and we have a few more reporters. Welcome, reporters. Where are you dialing in from? Let's hear from you.
Hello, I'm Rosie Sherry. I'm the CEO and founder of Ministry of Testing, and I'm dialing in from Brighton in the UK.
Natalia, where are you based? Welcome.
Thank you, Simon. Morning, everyone. I'm Natalia. I am a test engineer, and I am reporting today from Surrey, from my living room.
We have another incredible anchor joining us as well.
Guten Morgen. I am reporting from Berlin, the capital of Germany.
We're going to take a moment during this section to talk about the testing news. I mean, what has been going on, right? There's a whole load of stuff going on right now and has been for some good time, and we're going to get into it. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of some fascinating stuff happening in the testing community. We're going to focus a little bit on automation because that's why we're gathering here today. But first of all, let's just get a bit of a check-in and a sense of perhaps some of the overall themes that you've been seeing across the community.
So there was this Microsoft AI tour 2 days before in Berlin. And it actually blew my mind where few demos were as deep as they were capturing the team's recordings, and AI is capturing the requirements and giving it as a prompt to another bot, which is creating the code, and simultaneously creating unit tests and some even functional and accessibility tests even. And then all this is getting deployed as PRs and to be reviewed by people. And then this was amazing, and they have this enterprise AI also, which they said if you want to integrate it to your software, it will read everything, each user story, each conversation you're having, even in comments, and it will make changes as you're making changes as PRs in the code. And so someone needs to just review it, and it will keep getting better understanding it. But yes, it's something very specific to AI, and yeah.
Rosie in Brighton, what have you been observing?
Yeah, one of the things that's been intriguing is, if we're relating it to test automation, some of the discussions happening around that, and one is justifying the cost of test automation. How do we go about that? How, these are the challenges that are popping up. This is essentially breaking news and what's important to our community, and perhaps we're not talking about it enough. Is that how do we justify the cost? Do we have challenges around that as testers compared to perhaps more developers? Do we find it harder to get budget from that perspective? But yeah, I think that's definitely high up on our list of what the community is being challenged with.
And Natalia, how about yourself? What are you observing right now with the testing community?
Currently, Simon, I'm observing that a lot of skills and knowledge people have to build up to learn either new language, whatever popular they get, I guess, depending on the trend, or new tools which are coming up from time to time. So I think it's all around, how do I get knowledge in the right way so I can learn or contribute or bring value? Like, how do I learn either from video course, from other people, from articles, from just doing myself? So it's a lot of as well knowledge out there, and how do you pull that knowledge that suits you, right? So that's been my also personal journey, and there's still, I think it's going on like for years and years.
Yeah, indeed. And it seems to add to your point or amplify your point that there's certainly many ways for folks to learn, and for everyone as individuals to learn how they learn by themselves and also how they learn with others. And certainly we can see within the community that there's many people sharing many different things when it comes to automation. Lots of guides, related to say how you deal with fixing flaky Cypress tests, to how do you build a production grade JavaScript npm package, using Appium, how do you launch an Appium session with Python. There's very specific things that people are doing. And there's also people talking about, taking a step back, and regardless of what tooling or what framework you're using, taking a step back and doing and trying to think about how you approach test automation. Ashutosh in Berlin, let's hand over to you, and let's get your thoughts on this topic.
So here I would just start with the same thing, that software is eating the world, no doubt. Everybody in their own field is making a progress in the ways that were not basic. They are deep diving, be it Web3, be it Jenkins libraries that Daniel Gold has reported a really good article on it, and even regex, which is very basic thing, and there are regex builders, but people are still exploring it and sharing their guides how to be the best in regex practices. I would say I would add this one time that this flaky the point of flaky tests. Gleb has written about fixing the flaky test in Cypress, and this is the everlasting thing that we keep on talking, that we have the automation in place and it is not helping us in maintaining it, and it's taking too much time from us. And this is the way how we have been seeing this past few weeks in testing.
Absolutely. And it seems there's a move from folks to think about doing in sprint test automation. Now, that concept of not waiting till the end of a sprint and then doing, setting up all your automated checks. And we got some great advice from Svatika Visan, and they share the following about some good habits. If a question occurs to you, ask it. Don't worry if it seems trivial at first. There is no good reason to be idle whilst the developers are writing code. You can keep very active during that process. And if a user story seems unclear in any respect, go back to that first point, right? Ask a question. And finally, embrace testability every step of the way. And I think if folks want to dive more into testability, I can think of one individual in the community, Ash Winter, who's been sharing lots of stuff about testability and continues to do so.
Yeah, I will definitely check out Ash articles, but I recently understand that testability plays huge role in your automation success, and also in part of like enjoying your automation, right? Recently I was working on a project where we build things very quickly just to go to market. In the startup world, you do that very often to prove the value or learn from it. But then we rolled out into a permanent way of working this way and like doing things quickly, reiterating. But there was a breaking point where you have to think about more than just rolling in an iteration. And there was testability as well. So it's not only I struggle to progress with automation or put any meaningful automation in place without flakiness and maintenance or pipelines failing. I was asking like, why is that happening? And I discovered that we don't have a good testability. We don't have like environment to test properly, test data. Application might not be as having good testability as I'd love to. But as always, sometimes we fall into what's the reason is, flaky test or automation is not working. So I'm recently a huge advocate for testability. Look out for testability. See whether you have enough, whether it enables the automation in your team. And if you don't, just have a chat, right? And bring this question again and again and ask the team to help you find out what you can do yourself to work on that. And and you will feel so much better in doing your automation. So much easier it's going to be, so much accessible to you. So let me know if you go this way, how you feel and how it works for you.
Great advice there, Natalia, and observations. And yeah, if folks do want to learn more about testability, it's the topic that keeps coming back related to automation. If you do go to ministryoftesting.com, do a keyword search for testability. I've just done it now, and there is a lot of stuff. We've got a 30 days of testability. There's a brilliant talk by Ashley Graff. We've got an Ask Me Anything session with Ash Winter, who I mentioned earlier on. Even at a very high level, what is testability? So again, if this is a new topic for yourself, then please do jump on in, including some stuff from Rob Meany. Of course, Rob has been working with Ash, talking about testability, including a book that they put out there, if I remember correctly. So yeah, a lot of good stuff to dive into in the world of testability and how it can improve and enhance your test automation efforts.
Yeah, talking of testability, I think a lot of testers who are based or who had a background in web testing have moved to mobile, and I see there are really interesting head start which Appium 2 has started giving, and the way mobile automation or Appium was set up was a very painful thing to set up, and on different platforms of, let's say, the OS that you're using is going to change how you are going to set it up. And I saw this really interesting article about Head Start with Appium, and it's by Hanan Rehman. And I would say that these quick starts are going to really change how mobile testing is perceived. It's not slow, and it's definitely going to speed up so many people's starting journey to that, how we are going to move forward with Appium and into specifically to mobile automation. And not about automation. There are few articles, if we search on mobile testing, which are how do we move or have that test mindset in mobile instead of how we have been doing our things or testing things in web. It is the little nitty-gritties that we add in mobile testing are a little different, but things are, I would say, are really different. And it's good to have people talking about, listening at podcasts, or even reading a lot of stuff at Ministry of Testing. So yes.
And I think what I like about Hanan's approach is that they decided just to put it out there. Just go, look, you're going to learn with me. If someone reads it, brilliant. If no one reads it, no worries. And they've just gone for it and made their stuff public. And I think coming back to our earlier point is like, where do you start? How do you learn this stuff? For some folks, it's just documenting everything they are doing and learning and just putting it out there for others to experience. So at Ministry of Testing, we very much encourage that. You know, put stuff out there, start conversations, help people take action. It's a great way to learn as a community, that's for sure. Rosie, over to you in Brighton.
Thanks, Simon. Yeah, and to add to that conversation about learning, I find it fascinating, right? We're talking about we're almost like reporters. We are reporters in this context of the testing planet, and to some extent, all learning is social learning, right? We're connecting, we're sharing, and of course, there's many different ways we can learn. But one way to learn is through what is actually happening in the world and to make sense of it, and kind of tapping into the idea of like software is eating the world. It's like, yes, it is. And I remember like the testing world 20 years ago, and it's, you know, looking back in hindsight, it was such a simple world to exist in compared to where we are now. And partly this is what kind of is quite exciting at the moment, is that the complexity is really there, and how can we make sense of it, and how can we keep up with it? And yeah, I'm just loving like the idea of gathering, talking about things, sharing things. It can be very hard to like solve very specific problems in testing and quality engineering. But we can talk about it, and then we can take those ideas back and figure out how to solve it. And it's not always as easy as saying, oh, this, you have to fix this bit in your code and you're off and running. It's like it's more complex than that these days, and it shows with like what people are sharing, and the fact that none of us in the room can truly keep up with the challenges that everybody has, but we can find ways to connect and to share and to discuss and even to belong in that context of I'm struggling with testing, but there's others struggling around me, and we can empathise with each other, cry on each other's shoulders sometimes.
Absolutely. And that reminds me of what Hiep Shirks recently shared around tackling test automation in a new language. So that focus on value of learning different languages, yet not getting kind of caught up within them too much. So Hiep's advice, he was saying, start with a test, not with the framework. Let code complexity keep pace with your skill level, and compare and contrast with what you already know. And I think, to amplify your point, Rosie, about sharing, we don't have to solve it all at once. Hiep shares here that you can increment, let the tests in the framework evolve hand in hand, let code complexity grow your skill level, as mentioned, and then compare and contrast. And it points out that there's a coincidence that sounds a lot like agile software development. Very true there, Hiep, very true indeed. And we do not think that is a coincidence. There you go. Okay, folks, what other news do we have that we want to jump into? I mean, there really is so much out there. For us to summarize this in a short space of time can be a challenge. Yeah, what should we jump into next?
How about a win? Are there any wins that we've had this month from the community? I can point out Christian Baumann. He's completed his MOT foundation certificate in test automation. He's been working through that. And at the same time, that's a bit of a win for us that he's completed it. We're very much keeping an eye on who's completing the certifications and trying to support them and improve them and evolve them. So that's great to see.
Yeah, great win there for Christian, and a double win for Christian, as he's been helping out some of the folks who are also taking other parts of the course. So Christian, so if folks take a Initial Testing certificate in test automation, they can put their questions out on the club. The club is the forum that people can go to have brilliant discussions with the testing community, and you can ask questions about that course like, I'm stuck, this thing's breaking, I don't know why. Folks in the community jump on in and help out, and Christian has been doing a brilliant job recently helping out Ivo Tijan, who, congratulations, completed their Initial Testing Advanced certificate in test automation. So great to see that. Woo! And more folks are coming soon and going through the certification right now. So there'll be more breaking news, I'm sure, coming soon.
Yes. Just to add to it, even I am in the line to get it done. I hope to get it done as soon as I get more time from work and other activities that I've planned. Just to add few things to what news are coming, how can we just wrap up without the AI thing that is doing rounds and rounds, no doubt. And the things that are being reported, so there are few test vendors who have reported that they have put in not just prompts or AI assisted testing, someone or a bot which can go into your website. You just need to input your website and it will give you very deep insights into it, from accessibility, security, and functionality, and even UX related usability issues. And I was totally blown about this while I was reading about this yesterday. And this happened to be a software called Checky, I guess, from Jason. I think he's US based. And yes, these things, while they are being developed, I would say these are kind of tectonic shift that we are seeing in agile space, testing space. And I am thrilled to see how things are going differently and how people are using ML models to change how they are interacting with the softwares and social media, even their automated replies, how we can leverage these models to learn about ourselves and model it to, let's say, handle your LinkedIn, for example. So yes, I'm very excited about the advancements in AI. And in past 2 years, since Chat GPT has come with over 100, 200 million people already on board in it, I would say not many people are using Google these days. They are asking ChatGPT what's going on, or what's the next thing that they should be doing, planning their holidays even.
Wonderful. Thank you there, Ashutosh from Berlin. Natalia, before we wrap up today's section, any other thoughts on the testing news?
So here in Surrey, UK, I want to say I'm also on a MIT Foundation course, and I hope to finish it as soon as I can. So I've got quite a nice inspiration from Christian. So hopefully I do that. I actually won it on Test Bash, so it was one of the purpose to do that. So yes. So in last news, I guess following up on Ashutosh, yes, AI is a big thing as well. But coming back to automation, I don't think it goes anywhere. I don't think it will be replaced by AI. I think it will have equal challenge and equal space to learn and solve problems with automation, testing problems, and also the shift that we have to go now solving testing problem with automation and AI rather than using just automation and AI. So I'm very hopeful that the more we go into technology, the more we as well evolve our analytical and critical thinking and thinking itself and using tools to help us out. So that's my hope for the next couple of years. And let's shape it. It's actually available to us. We can help people out there to navigate better ways and work out, collaborate together, how to make it successful and more accessible and enjoyable. Just remember, automation, everything can be enjoyable. So let's make it.
Absolutely, let's make it. And folks, it's time to wrap up our segment here. So this is Simon signing off from Teddington.
Natalia signing off from Surrey, UK.
Signing off from Berlin, Ashutosh.
Signing off from Brighton, Rosie Sherry.
Take care, folks, and we'll see you at another Testing Planet. Bye for now.